Oh, goodness. All right. It's about that time. Let's talk about sex, baby. Really, though, we're going to be talking about chastity. So if anybody wants to make a little jingle about that, I welcome it. Olivia Newton-John, if you're watching, how about a little remix? Hey friend, I'm Kelsey and welcome back to Saint Stories. I'm so glad you're here. Before we get started, I want to make a little disclaimer. I am not a chastity speaker. I am not well versed or trained in theology of the body, and I don't have a quick pitch on saving yourself for marriage. What I do have is my own heart and my own experience and my desire to share with you that you are good. My encouragement to believe in your own goodness. I've been blessed by people who have spoken that into my life, whether that be friends, mentors, saints, shout out JP too. Their witness has encouraged me to pursue virtue in all of my relationships, whether that be romantic, friendships, etc., etc. It's given me the encouragement to live with a pure heart, and that's what I desire to share with you today. To appeal to you as a friend on this journey to holiness with you, that you were made by love and for love, and that love made you good. Conversations about chastity can often lead us to feeling like everything is black and white. This is what we can do, this is what we can't do until this time in our lives, blah, blah, blah. But like any virtue, chastity isn't simply a rule or a guideline. It's a disposition of our hearts. The Catechism defines chastity as integration of sexuality within the person and thus the inner unity of man in his bodily and spiritual being. It also emphasizes that in the self-mastery in this arena is where we find true freedom. The Lord desires for you to be free, not confined by lustful ambitions and empty promises. He created you to love and be loved truly and fully and freely. He doesn't settle for loving us halfway. That's why he died on the cross. And his truth, his call, invites us to do the same, to not settle for half-hearted, shallow forms of love, to not give half-hearted, shallow forms of love. Chastity calls us to love with pure hearts, to love in its truest form. Sin, which is so often found in physical intimacy that lacks the promises of love, does not and will not set us free, but enslaves us to ourselves. And you already knew I wasn't going to do this video without quoting John Paul II. I'm actually proud of myself that the entire video hasn't been a quote of John Paul II, but I really do think he said it best when he said, "I know that young people reject hypocrisy. You want to be honest with yourselves and others. A chaste person is honest. When God created us, he gave us more than one way to speak to each other. Besides expressing ourselves through speech, we express ourselves through our bodies. Gestures are like words that tell us who we are. Sexual actions are words that reveal our hearts. The Lord wants us to use our sexuality according to his plan. He expects us to speak truthfully. Honest sexual language requires a commitment to lifelong fidelity. To give your body to another person symbolizes the total gift of yourself to that person. But if you're not married, you are admitting that you might change your mind in the future. Total self-giving would then be absent. Without the bond of marriage, sexual relations are a lie. Do not be deceived by the empty words of those who ridicule chastity or your capacity for self-control." You and I were created to give our hearts away, to give our hearts to something. This desire is not a fallen desire, but it is also why chastity has to begin in our hearts. Conversations and reflections on boundaries, etc., will come and should happen, but they will never sustain themselves if we aren't meeting the Lord in prayer, if the disposition of our hearts is not rooted in his truth, is not seeking his fulfillment. We have to go to prayer and ask the Lord to make us more like him. So today, on this journey to holiness, in search of true freedom, I want to begin with a simple prayer that goes a little something like this. Lord, thank you that I am worthy of receiving love. Thank you that my love is a gift. Create in me a pure heart so I can live in freedom and relationship with you. Make me more like you. I'm with you, friend, and I am praying for you. I'll see you soon. Bye.